Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 3 and now we will present about discipline of discourse analysis. Our members group is me, Anugrah Dwi Muharomi, Dewi Citra, Ananda Dwi Putri, Nur Zakina Nasir, Peggy Melati Sukma, and the last Sri Aminingsi. For the first speaker, time is yours.
Okay, I will discuss about discourse analysis in I will discuss about discourse analysis in linguistics. Discipline that fits into discourse analysis come to us from linguistics. David Crystal tells that linguistics is the science of the language and linguistic used for the people who try to understand the way human language. And then discourse analysis encompasses a lot of linguistic information, of course. So discourse analysis is not only about looking at linguistics, but there is certain component of it that's important to understand. And next, discourse analysis is sometimes defined as the analysis of language beyond the sentence. This contrasts with the types of analysis more typical of modern linguistics, which are chiefly concerned with the study of grammar, that the study of smaller bits of language, such as phonetics and phonology is about sounds, and morphology is about words, semantic is about meaning, and the last is syntax, is about the order of word in the sentences. Okay, that's all from me. We are going to the next material.
Okay, I will explain about sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistic and discourse analysis relations. Sociolinguistic and discourse analysis develop around discursive and linguistic practices within the language science and in creative interaction with other fields in the social science and the humanities. As we will show later, specialists in discourse analysis, sociolinguistics, and conversation analysis share a number of principal and conceptual and methodological resources. However, this sharing took place in the kind of Wittgenstein, a family atmosphere, as it did not have the required condition to be considered a class. Next. Next, definition of linguistics. According to Spolsky, 1998, sociolinguistics is the field that studies the relationship between language and society, between the use of language and the social structures in which the user of language live. It is the field of study that assumes that human society is made up of many related patterns and behaviors, some of which are linguistic. I think that's all. We are going to the next material.
So the next material is about psycholinguistic. Psycholinguistic in discourse analysis is closely related to the discipline of linguistics. Psycholinguistics is a field of study that combines psychology and linguistics. The term itself was coined in 1951, though the study had been going on even in the 19th century in the form of the study of language development. Next slide. So as I said before, psycholinguistics is a field of study that combines psychology and linguistics. There are scopes of psycholinguistics and linguistics. In the psycholinguistic, it is divided into two. The first, there is how people use language as a system. And the second, how people learn a language or how people can acquire a language and use it for communication. The next slide. In the linguistic, it is divided into 7. The first, how the language is received and produced by language users. And the second, how the human brain works with regard to language. And the third, the theory of language acquisition by children. And the next, the difference between language acquisition by children and language learning. And mother tongue system interference to the language being studied. And language development. And the next, the role of motivation in language learning. And I think that's all from me. Next to the next speaker.
Okay, for the next material is about linguistics anthropology. In contrast to the emergence of linguistics as an autonomous discipline that abstracted language from its uses for formal analysis, linguistics anthropologists in the mid-20th century worked to highlight ways that analysis of language must be grounded systematically in social context of production. They did so in order to show the ways that language use is of paramount importance to understanding cultural practices, social identities, belief systems, and community membership. These directions become richly developed by two complementary, yet distinct schools of thought and commitment theoretical orientation for approaching the analysis of language in ethnographic context. Delheims and John Gumpers pioneered the ethnography of communication, and Michael Silverstein theorized a semiotic approach to questions of language used in social life. Taken together, ethnographic and semiotic approaches to language and culture remain the cornerstone of contemporary research in the field well in the 21st century. And for the next slide, the next subject is about philosophy. The discourse has been defined as a group of ideas or patterned way of thinking which can be identified in textual and verbal communication and can be located in wider social structures. Discourse analysis provides insight into the functions of bodies of knowledge in their specific situated context by generating interpretive claims with regard to the power effects of a discourse on a group of people, without claims of generalizability to other contexts. The theoretical basis for discourse analysis is based on several historical developments in the philosophy of science and social theory. As an approach to analyzing systematic bodies of knowledge, discourse analysis participates in several traditions of Western thoughts. The major theoretical influences on the methods are critical social theory, anti-foundationalism, postmodernism, and feminism. Okay, that's all for me. And for the next speaker,
Okay, the next material is history as the discipline of discourse analysis. Trevor, 1985, mentions the functions of discourse analysis for historians as both for critic and self-critic. It functions as the first is a tool of inquiry in the traditional test of interpretation of source, the exploitation of the archive of pertinent discourses that the historians use to reconstruct the past. And the second is a tool to reveal the discursive strategies of presentation. As we know that in Sulawesi Selatan, there are so many history that present in many forms, like folk tales, myths, or legends. For example, Galigo or Nenek Malomo. We can interpret the meaning or the story by using discourse analysis. The other example may be Lontara letter, that we can use discourse analysis to know Bugis language to analysis Bugis language through Lontara writing or Lontara letter. I think that's all. We move to the next speaker.
Now we are talking about literature. Discourse analysis in literature. It's all about the studies that are related to investigate the usage of literary works or research of facts for analysis. As we know, there are many kinds of literary works, such as drama, short story, novel, poems, and many more, that we can use all of them as resources of text to analyze. For example, in drama, that can be used to analyze spoken discourse, and the novel that is write and transcript. Then we can analyze the way the character communicate or communicating to each other. And the other example that we can take from the novel that become a movie, or the movie that adapted from some novel or certain novel, that the in the movie we transcribed it to the text, and the text we use the approach of discourse analysis. Most of them can be research of data and can be analyzed by using discourse analysis. The next subject is law. Discourse analysis in law. Discourse analysis has proven quite as a useful asset in forensic linguistics. In legal cases, language experts have relied on the use of discourse markers, pattern of interruption, pattern of register shifting, and other aspects of discourse. That's according to Shui. And about the legal context, many possibilities of occurring cases can become the focus of doing discourse analysis, either in the form of written or spoken language. Talking about the legal context in discourse analysis in legal context, as I read, speech acts such as promising, offering, denying, agreeing, threatening, warning, and apologizing have been well documented as central to conversation used as evidence in criminal cases. For example, in criminal cases, we can take from the murder cases. We can use any recording or recorded in CCTV. We can find we can use it. We can use the record to find the crime or to find the related how the tragedy can be happen, and some stuff like that. So that's all for me. We are going to the next speaker.
Okay, for the next material is education. Education is a gradual process which brings positive change in human life and behavior. We can also define education as a process of acquiring knowledge through study or imparting the knowledge by way of instruction or some other practical procedure. Can see the slide. Education is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skill, values, beliefs, and habits. Educational methods include teaching, training, storytelling, discussion, and directed research. Education frequently takes place under the guidance of educator. However, learners can also educate themselves. For the third types of education is formal education. Formal education is educational pathway that is structured and tried, consisting of primary, secondary, and higher education. For example, uh, elementary school, junior high school, madrasah sanawiyah, senior high school, vocational high school, and higher education diploma, bachelor to doctor levels. And the second is non-formal. Non-formal is an education that is outside the formal education, which can be implemented in a structured and tried manner. For example, the equality education consists of page cake A, B, and the last is informal. Informal is a pet family and informal environmental education. Of informal education are a mother who teach her children to be polite and maintain ethics. A father who teach his child to be responsible. A grandfather who advise his grandchildren to be honest, and so on. The last material is political. Political is the set of activities that are associated with making the decision in groups or other forms of power relation between individuals, such as the distribution or research or status. Academic of politics is referred to as political science. Politics is a multifaceted word. It may be used positively in the context of political solution, which is compromising and non-violent, or descriptively as the art or science of government, but also often carries a negative connotation. For example, abolitionists, when the Phillips declared that we do not play politics, anti-slavery is how just with us. That's all for the time given for us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.